Hi people, my name is Dr. Sharnael, Wolverton-Sehon, and today I choose to speak to you guys about something I just kind of discovered and recovered, uncovered, whatever you choose. Hi y'all. Hi Tatiana. Something really exciting. I'm going to talk to you specifically about awakening to truth and what the scriptures really say and how that applies to you, how you can use that for your personal life. So anyone who chooses to share or tag, if you can share this on your Facebook page and tag 3 people, you have an opportunity to win this Awaken oil, which is 30 different oils. It's a blend of 30 different amazing, awesome oils, Jennifer and Mona. Okay, so we're going to talk today because, again, you guys who have been following me, I have been going through some of the scriptures and going through them each and every word per word in the Greek and the Hebrew and discovering the actual text. And for those of you who did not see my last video, I encourage you to go back and watch the Lord's Prayer, because it says, pray this way. And I was absolutely shocked to be 40-something years old and to finally see the way that it was really meant to be said and to be prayed. Hey, Tanya. So today we're going to look at some of the commandments, actually one of the commandments, because the commandments are supposed to be the big deal, right? We're supposed to follow the 10 commandments. Well, it'd be cool if we knew what the 10 commandments really said and what they really meant, so we can really follow them and get the blessing that comes from following those specific commandments. The one that I'm looking at today is Exodus 27, 20 ... 7, meaning the 7th verse of the 20th chapter, which says, "Thou shalt not use the name of the Lord in vain, for the Lord will not hold anyone guiltless who takes his name in vain." Now let's look to see what it really means, because in my former programming and my former reading or perception and or the way it was taught to me, or the way I've read it or felt it or understood it because of my reading or someone's presentation to me, I looked at that, and honest to God, I was told and or perceived that to use his name in vain meant that I used his name in place of a curse word. That I was cursing him if I used his name in vain by cussing and saying his name in vain. Or even saying things like, oh my God, or, you know, I choose not to even go there. But I hope that makes sense. Have any of you thought that too? Have any of you been programmed to think that using the Lord's name in vain meant specifically that you were using his name in exchange for a curse word? Like Jesus Christ, you know, instead of actually meaning calling out to Jesus Christ, but you were just using his name, that was the meaning and or definition of using his name in vain. I remember even like accidentally saying a couple things like, oh my God, or Jesus, and someone saying, oh, it's not good to use his name in vain, you know, that's a commandment. And so I have no idea. I choose to know where that teaching came from or where my understanding of that came from. And guess what? Let's talk about what it really means by the words that are written in the original text. When we are in union with him, when we are in covenant with him, when we remember him fully, when we are completely and fully awake and awakened to who he is, when we are fully in him, then we are walking in love and carrying love. God is love, and we have the opportunity to carry him. And when we carry him, anything less than love or anything less than God isn't him fully. Now, the scriptures say, thou shalt not use the name of the Lord, the names of the Lord, actually, when we take. That word take means to carry. When we carry the names Names meaning all the names of who he is, whether that's provision or peace or life or love or light or all those things. When we carry those things, we actually represent him. We get to be a demonstration of him. We get to be his hands and feet. When we take his names, that word names is plural, and it also means his moral reputation and character. So when we take his names in vain, when I looked up vain actually means the Hebrew 7723, which means falsehood, emptiness, worthless, or literally ruined morally. So when we carry his names in emptiness, when we carry or behave morally less than what his reputation and character is, or what he stands for in his names, which would be things like I am provision, I am light, I am all those things. When we are walking in or carrying anything less than his perfection, that's actually taking his name in vain, because we are not demonstrating when we choose to walk in anything less than love. That is the definition or the truth of this actual scripture, which means we're carrying his name or his reputation or the names of who he is within us less than love. And when we do that, there are consequences. And so anything that follows I am is very, very powerful, and it creates a synergy and a biocode that creates images and matters. And so, and even Joel Osteen talks about that in his book, but there's the Saint Germain, there's Neville, there's lots of people who talk about the power of I am. There's several I ams in the Bible. And when we say things less than love, when we say things less than God, and we put those things after I am, for example, I am sick, cancel. I am depressed, cancel. I am broke, cancel. I am done, cancel. Those things are less than love. Cancel, clear, all those things. Those things are not only less than love, but they aren't anything to do with Christ. And they're not anything to do with what Christ would say or think or act. It's not his reputation. It's falsehood, as it says here. It's empty. And so when we agree and consent and decree those things, we're basically coming into agreement with using his name and his names in vain, and instead walking and thinking and saying falsehoods, walking and thinking and saying emptiness things. Now, on a science level, again, anything less than love is self-sabotage, which Robert Stevens so beautifully said one time. So anything less than God contains self-sabotage. And so as we choose these things, not only to think those things, but to say those things, but to morally walk out those things, would be less than God, would be less than love, would be less than his perfection, and using his name in emptiness, or walking and carrying his name in emptiness. Going back to Exodus, when we take his name in vain or falsehood or emptiness, we create emptiness within ourselves. The actual scripture that we started out with, it says, "Thou shalt not use the name of the Lord in vain, for the Lord will not hold will hold guiltless anyone who takes the name in vain." He will hold us guiltless. Hold us in guilt. When I looked up guilt and what that actually meant is basically he will hold us to that emptiness, because anything that we think and feel and put behind I am is so strong that that begins a vibration and a creation to matter. And whatever you speak and feel and talk about and think creates a code within you. That heart that's most trump, that's most the highest frequency, the highest electric being within you, starts to create and does create a code which goes through your body, through your cells. It tells your brain to release chemistry as if it's happening, and it goes into the biofield, and like a magnet, you magnetize those things. And so when you speak of emptiness or anything less than love, guess what? It chases you down like a magnet. And again, Joel Osteen says, anything following I am will chase you down. It will follow you. It will come looking for you. So when we take his name in falsehood, science and the law of attraction, which whether you believe in it or not, just like gravity, it still exists. So what you think of, what you feel, what you speak, what you talk about, what you say following I am, if it's less than love or less than God, less than his reputation and his morals and who he is, not only does it, yes, it contains self-sabotage, because of the law of attraction, which magnetizes that same emptiness back to you, and you get what you say. Your word, his word through you, does not return void. It comes back to you. Same with judgment. You judge and you'll be judged. It's your own judgment to you when you speak those things over yourself. So, definitely, I choose to think about what I'm thinking about, to think about what I'm feeling, to be very careful, to only voice my choice, to only think about those things that represent him and that behold and embody him, to speak those things that are not as though they are. If we're not seeing that in existence or evidence, to flip the script and to speak those things that are not as though they are. And to be very, very careful that that when he gave us these commandments, that this was not like, oh, you got to do this or I'm going to hurt you, but he's saying these are good things to follow so you can have the life of abundance and love. When you are loved, you get a match. When you are provision, you get a match. When you think about and feel and remember provision for you, health for you, light for you, all those things come and chase you down. And so when we speak of those things in a positive light, and we remember that God in us fully is those things currently, and we see from the place of already having and looking out, that's when we're really, really creating things. But the scriptures say that, here's the thing, the mind and the heart and the mouth have to line up. That's where the witness is. And when we are thinking about things that are positive and they're incongruent with our heart and our mouth, that's where miracles really happen. That's where the manifestations happen. But when we have one of those things out, they don't happen as fast. They don't manifest as fast. So if there's something that you're not seeing that you supposedly say you choose, look within and see what's going on the inside to make sure that there truly is alignment and truth in all those things. The scriptures say you can speak with the tongue of angels or men, but if you do not have love, you have nothing. And so when we have split energy, maybe we're thinking about having provision, but we're talking about, oh, I don't have the bill yet, canceled. That's a decree. And those things aren't in alignment. Those things aren't a witness. It says where two or more are gathered in my name, then there I am. And so when we can witness here, and even have a group of people who are holding the vision that it's already done, there's so much power in that. And scriptures also say that a house divided cannot stand. When I looked up the scripture divided, that very word actually means split factions, split energy, separate. So when we are separate, we cannot stand. And that word stand means to abide, to continue, to be present. And when we are whole, when we remember, and remind wholeness and all the things of God and who he is in us fully, provision, light, love, peace that passes all understanding. We are wisdom. I am truth. I am light. I am abundance. When we are all those things and we voice those things and we remember in our mind and remind those things, and we reprogram our mouths and our hearts and our minds to come into alignment to what those things are and what he really is, all of those things, love in us, and we carry that, when we carry his name in that, in alignment, that's when we get the manifestations. That's when the miracles chase us down. That's when love and provision and all those things you say you are chase you down. But if there's anything off, it says that we are a noisy cymbal. I know that some of you have been in the presence of men or women who say all the right things, but there's something off. You could feel it in your gut. You know, oh my gosh, you know, he's saying everything, but something's weird. And maybe you don't trust it for some reason. And pay attention to those things, because your gut knows. You are feeling their biocode. You're feeling literally mixed signals coming to you. And so when there is authenticity, when you're standing in front of someone who they're speaking and it's authentic, and you know it's truth, and you feel it's truth, and you know they know it's truth, there is such a power to that, and you feel there's a security to that, and you can be that. God in you is that. And so you are fully supported, you are fully provisioned, you are all those things. I encourage you to take some time today to write down some of your own decrees that you choose. When you write them down, you kinetically connect with them, you see them visually. It helps the programming faster, and also what you write down are contracts. So keep your decrees and say your decrees until you believe them, until you know them as truth. Even if you're not seeing evidence of it yet, if we can think from it already happening instead of talking to it happening or hoping for it happening, but speaking from it already happening. There are so many scriptures that line up with that's where the miracles happen. And so let's remember to represent him well, to represent him everywhere you go, to carry him and his names, his moral reputation, and all the wonderful things of God that he is in us. And as we do this, guess what? Those things chase us down. They become alive. We are alive in it. We stand in it. We are abiding in it. We carry it. It says that then the house is whole. And we stay and we stand and we're abiding and we're receiving the benefits of everything that he is. So I hope this was helpful. Live love, see love, write down love, be love, carry him everywhere you go. Share this with someone that you choose to know, that you choose to win, and to remember by winning all the things of God inside of you now. I love you. I vote your permanent victory, and I look forward to seeing you the next time. Okay, share and tag. Go to my Instagram, go to my YouTube, and I encourage you, really go back to my YouTube and watch the last video I did on the truth of the real words of the Lord's Prayer. You will remember, and you will love what God really said in that prayer. All right, love you. Talk to you soon. Bye.